Hey guys, welcome to Allie's Kitchen. And in our kitchen we have no milk, nuts, or eggs. So everything I'm going to teach you guys how to make will be allergy friendly from that standpoint. So it's Christmas time and you know what that means? That means cookies. So today I'm going to teach you how to make some vegan sugar cookies. So again, these cookies are milk, nut, and egg free. So let's first start with the egg. You say, how can you make cookies without egg? Well, this is going to be your best friend. Anytime you have 2 or less eggs, you can use flaxseed. So let me teach you how to do this. For this recipe for sugar cookies, we're only going to need 1 egg. So we're going to do 1 tablespoon of milled flaxseed, and then you're going to mix that with 3 tablespoons of water. And once you mix that, just let it sit for a few minutes. I've done recipes where I don't let it sit and it worked out fine, but for optimal results, you want to let it sit for a few minutes. Okay, so there's our lovely egg. As you see, it has kind of that consistency of an egg. So next I'm going to add 1 cup of vegan butter. So luckily plant-based stuff is all in right now. So whatever plant-based butter you can find. This does have soy, so if you have a soy allergy, you do need to read the ingredients. We're going to add that in there, and it should be room temperature, so you want it softened, so that way your spoon or spatula can get in there. And then we're going to mix in 1 cup of white sugar, and we're going to cream that together. So you can use a hand mixer. I'm kind of old school, so I just go like this, and you mix that together really well. Now that that's mixed, I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. I don't love a lot of vanilla taste. If you want to do an extra teaspoon, you can, but I like to stick with 1. I like to taste basically the sugar and the butter. So mix that in, and then last but not least, you are going to add in 3 cups of self-rising flour. I don't fool with all-purpose and the baking soda and all that. I just go straight to the self-rising flour. So you're going to mix that in. That's 3 cups. And then once you mix that in, you will have your dough. You'll be ready to roll it out. Some people like to freeze their dough. I have not seen a difference when you freeze it or if you just make it straight from room temperature, whatever your preference is. Maybe if you don't have time today, you can do it, freeze it, and make them tomorrow. Or if you're like me and you're hungry, you just go ahead and roll them out and cook them. All right, guys, so as I said earlier, I did not chill this dough because I am impatient and it doesn't make that big of a difference, but I did put down a piece of parchment paper so it doesn't stick to the counter, and then I put a little flour in the corner. You don't need to do too much because you don't want to compromise the recipe, but just sprinkle that down, and now we are going to cut it and put it on some pans and decorate them. If you want sprinkles, I recommend doing sprinkles before you bake, or you can bake them plain and then we'll make an icing, which is really good. That's my kid's favorite. And remember guys, this is plant-based, so it's a good time to taste your dough. You don't have to worry about eating any raw stuff. So we're just going to, if you have a rolling pin, use that. I don't know if I'm old school or ghetto, but I just use my hands. So we're going to pat it out. The thicker they are, the softer they are once you bake them. So if you like them crunchy, you want to spread it out a lot thinner. I kind of like mine. I like mine soft. My kids like them soft. Okay, now we're going to get out our cookie cutters. You can do whatever you want. We're doing just typical Christmas shapes. We got a Christmas tree, gingerbread man, a good old Christmas boot, because nothing says Christmas like a boot. Or maybe it's a stocking. And I'm gonna start with my snowman. So you guys know how to do this. You just cut them out. And then I put them on parchment paper on a pan. That way cleanup is super easy. All right guys, we got them all laid out. Again, I put them on parchment paper so you don't have to worry about sticking, you don't have to worry about cleaning up. I'm gonna throw some sprinkles on a few of them because that's what I like. My kids like the ones with the icing. So it's really nothing artistic. You literally just start dumping them on there. I kind of press them so they don't go more all over the pan. So we're just gonna put a couple sprinkles on some of these. Add a little Christmas cheer. And then we're gonna pop them in the oven. I have the oven on 350, and we'll do about 8 to 10 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. And if you like them softer, take them out around the 10-minute mark. If you like them crunchy, let them go for an extra minute or 2. All right, guys, now it's time to put them in the oven. So we're gonna do 350 for 8 to 10 minutes. If you like them crunchy, take them out 11 or 12. Just keep an eye on them. I like them pretty soft, so we're gonna put them in for 10 minutes. we're gonna make the icing for the sugar cookies. Now this is very important to have the specific ingredients that we talk about. I did a teaspoon of vanilla, just put it in here. 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Again, you wanna do your plant-based butter. Now, then this is where I get a little funny with cooking. I don't really measure. So we're gonna pour in some powdered sugar. And depending how much you pour the powdered sugar is how much rice milk you're gonna need. And it's important to use rice milk. I have tried it with oat milk, I've tried it with coconut milk, I've tried it with all the plant-based milks that we can have. So once it gets clumpy like that, you know it's time to add your rice milk. And what's good about rice milk is it has no flavor. So it's not gonna give you extra sweetness. It's not gonna give you any unwanted taste. So that's why it is super important. And it's really white. Some of the oat milks are creamy looking, so it makes it harder when you wanna add your food coloring. So we're just going to mix that up until it is really shiny. You don't want it too thin, you want it shiny. And get all the little clumps out. And then you're ready to put it in separate bowls and do whatever food coloring you want and start decorating. All right guys, now that our icing is made, I just separated it into 3 different bowls because I'm gonna do 3 different colors. So the more colors, the more bowls, but we're just gonna stick with our traditional red, green, and I'm gonna do yellow. So blue would be maybe another one you'd wanna do, but I just like to kind of stick to some basics. You can make it as easy or as hard as you want. And once you put your food coloring, you do want to get this concentrated food coloring because our icing, as you can see, it's not completely white because of our butter. Get the concentrated stuff, it's a gel, and it'll show up better. So you're just going to mix each one. There's our beautiful red. Let's get some green going. And then our yellow. So 2 ways you can do the icing. You can literally just scoop it out and start spreading it on, just like that. And the reason why you want that icing to be shiny is that it doesn't show all these little marks that you make. It does kind of set up really well. Not quite the same as royal icing that uses egg, but this tastes better. So there, you can do that. And then I'm gonna show you a pipe cleaner method. I'm gonna go ahead and put some down on my tree and then I'll show you how to do some ornaments with the pipe cleaner. Okay, so to pipe the stuff, you wanna put the icing in a bag. I just use a little sandwich baggie. And once you get however much you want in there, you literally just take it and squeeze it all down to the bottom, just like that. Then twist so it doesn't go back up. And you're just gonna cut the tip off ever so slightly. And that makes your little homemade piping bag. All right guys, so the time is here. Your last step is to enjoy these cookies. And I just want you guys to remember that just because you have food allergies or there's a restriction in your diet, doesn't mean you can't enjoy the holidays. So here's proof. Enjoy.